Today, we continue with our enchanting story of the little prince. Let yourself be accompanied and comforted once again by the wisdom and the simple yet profound messages of the little prince on this journey. Enjoy this journey, and remember, one sees clearly only with the heart. What is essential is invisible to the eye. The Little Prince, based on a story by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Chapter 3. The Origin of the Little Prince. It took me some time to discover where he came from. The little prince, who asked me so many questions, never seemed to hear the ones I asked him. It was from words dropped by chance that, little by little, everything was revealed to me. The first time he saw my airplane, I shall not draw my airplane, that would be much too complicated for me. He asked me, "What is that object?" "That is not an object. It flies. It is an airplane. It is my airplane." I was proud to have him learn that I could fly. He cried out then, "What? You dropped down from the sky?" "Yes," I answered modestly. "Oh, that is funny." And the little prince broke into a lovely peal of laughter, which irritated me very much. I like my misfortunes to be taken seriously. Then he added, "So you too come from the sky. Which is your planet?" At that moment I caught a gleam of light in the impenetrable mystery of his presence, and I demanded abruptly, "Do you come from another planet?" But he did not reply. He tossed his head gently without taking his eyes from my plane. It is true that on that you can't have come from very far away. And he sank into a reverie which lasted a long time. Then, taking my sheep out of his pocket, he buried himself in the contemplation of his treasure. You can imagine how my curiosity was aroused by this half-confidence about the other planets. I made a great effort, therefore, to find out more on this subject. "My little man, where do you come from? What is this, where I live, of which you speak? Where do you want to take your sheep?" After a reflective silence, he answered, "The good thing about the box you have given me is that at night he can use it as his house." "That is so. And if you are good, I will give you a string too, so that you can tie him during the day and a post to tie him to." But the little prince seemed shocked by this offer. "Tie him? What a queer idea." "But if you don't tie him," I said, "he will wander off somewhere and get lost." My friend broke into another peal of laughter. "Where do you think he would go?" "Anywhere. Straight ahead of him." Then the little prince said earnestly, "That doesn't matter. Where I live, everything is so small." And with perhaps a hint of sadness, he added, "Straight ahead, you can't go very far." Chapter 4. The Discovery of Asteroid B 612. It took me a while to gain an important insight. The home planet of the little prince was barely larger than a house. This initially seemed very strange to me, although I knew that besides the large planets like Earth, Jupiter, Mars, and Venus, there were hundreds of small planets that were sometimes so tiny that they could hardly be seen through a telescope. When an astronomer discovers one of these, it is given a number, For example, it might be called Asteroid 3251. I have serious reasons to believe that the Little Princess planet is asteroid B 612. This asteroid was discovered in 1909 by a Turkish astronomer. At an international astronomy congress, this astronomer presented his discovery. However, nobody believed him, simply because of his traditional clothing. Such are adults. Fortunately for the reputation of asteroid B 612, a Turkish ruler later decreed that all citizens must wear European clothing. In 1920, the astronomer gave his lecture again, this time in an elegant suit, and everyone believed him. If I tell you these details about asteroid B 612 and mention its number, it is only because of the adults. They love numbers. When you talk to them about a new friend, they never ask about the essential things. They never ask, what does his voice sound like? What games does he love most? Does he collect butterflies? Instead, they ask, how old is he? How many siblings does he have? How much does he weigh? How much does his father earn? Only then do they think they know him. If you tell them, I saw a beautiful house made of red bricks with geraniums at the windows and doves on the roof, they can't imagine it. You must say, I saw a house that cost 100,000 francs. Then they will exclaim, oh, how lovely. If you tell them, the proof that the little prince existed is that he was charming, that he laughed, and that he wanted a sheep. When someone wants a sheep, that is proof that they exist. They will shrug and treat you like a child. But if you say, the planet he came from is asteroid B 612, they will be convinced and ask no more questions. Such are they. We must not hold it against them. Children should be very patient with adults. We, who understand life, do not care about numbers. I should have liked to begin this story in the manner of fairy tales. I should have liked to say, once upon a time, there was a little prince who lived on a planet scarcely any bigger than himself and who needed a friend. For those who understand life, that would have given a much greater air of truth to my story. I do not want anyone to read my book carelessly. I have suffered too much grief setting down these memories. 6 years have already passed since my friend went away along with his sheep. If I try to describe him here, it is to make sure I do not forget him. To forget a friend is sad. Not everyone has had a friend. And if I forget him, I may become like those grown-ups who are no longer interested in anything but numbers. This is why I have bought a box of paints and some pencils. It is hard to resume drawing at my age, when I have never made any pictures except those of the boa constrictor from the outside and the boa constrictor from the inside, since I was 6. I shall certainly try to make my portraits as true to life as possible. But I am not at all sure of success. One drawing goes well, and another has no resemblance to its subject. I make some errors too, in the little prince's height. In one place he is too tall, and in another too short. And I feel some doubts about the color of his costume, so I fumble along as best I can, now good, now bad, and I hope generally fair to middling. In certain more important details, I shall make mistakes also, but that is something that will not be my fault. My friend never explained anything to me. Perhaps he thought I was like himself, but I, alas, do not know how to see sheep through the walls of boxes. Perhaps I am a little like the grown-ups. I have had to grow old.